Hi and welcome. This video is going to be my part 2 on the characters of John Gwyn's Ruin. In part 1, I went over roughly half of the main point of view characters because if you've read these books, you know that there are a lot of characters that get point of view chapters. So that first one was the goodies, if you will, where this one will be more of the baddies. We're going to get into those characters from the whole book, so spoiler warning on book 3. Okay, for this video, I'm starting with Nethere and Veridis, simultaneously my favorite and least favorite character. Veridis is one of my favorites. He has been, in my opinion, super admirable from the first time we met him in the first book. He is loyal, almost the epitome of loyalty. Some might say too loyal, because he's almost blindly loyal to his friend Nethere. He has sworn his oath. Nethere is his friend. He admires Nethere, and he just wholeheartedly believes that Nethere deserves all of his feelings for him and all of his loyalty, so he gives it freely to him. And up till now, Veridis has not had any real reason to doubt Nethere's integrity. He has no real reason to believe that Nethere doesn't just deserve all of his loyalty. Also, with Nethere being like the chosen hero that they think he is, and with the promise of becoming this high king, that just, in Veridis' eyes, makes Nethere seem like he has the right, not just to his own loyalty, but to everyone. In the Banished Lands, how dare that Corbin not be loyal to Nethere, who's promised by Elyon? I will say, in book 3, and I will admit that between making my part 1 and this one, I did read book 4, Wrath. So I'm trying not to think about what happens in Wrath before talking about what happens in Ruin. In book 3, I do feel sympathy and I do feel a little sorry for Nethere because of how bad he's been lied to. I feel like he's been lied to even worse than Corbin was, because Corbin was used and manipulated by Michael. He was told he's this chosen one, this bright star. Well, that prophecy was kind of made up. He didn't fulfill it anyway. Nethere is told that he's the chosen one. He is the bright star. So in his case, not only was the prophecy false to start, but he was straight up lied to. Calidus does believe the prophecy, but he knows Nethere is no bright star. He knows that Nethere is going to be used as the Black Sun, but Nethere, at the beginning, was not the type of guy who would embrace the idea of serving Azeroth, so he needed the lie to get Nethere to be loyal to their side before being able to reveal the truth after he's drawn Nethere in so tightly that Nethere could not get free of it. I say poor Nethere. In the beginning, he does learn the truth, he does make his own choices, but he firmly believes he is chosen by God to defeat evil. What higher calling could you have? And besides that, he firmly believes in the idea of doing things for the greater good. If serving God and defeating evil are the greater good, and you believe that you have been chosen to make this happen, that can just excuse all atrocities you could commit in the name of the greater good, even murdering his own father. I don't know if he really believes deep down that that was a good moral choice. He believed it was necessary, so he did it. And that idea of being willing to do what's necessary, no matter the cost, is how you can go from being a good character to morally gray to just, I'm evil now. But Nethere believes in his own goodness, his own right to be the High King. Did not an angel personally confirm it? So Nethere and Veridis have these strong beliefs that they are doing a good thing, they're going to defeat evil, save the world, they are on the right path. this gets shattered for Nether. Everything he believes, all the things that he did in the name of serving Elyon are suddenly just shattered and broken away. He finds out he's actually been serving Azeroth this whole time. By now, Nether is so drawn in and so dedicated to Calidus and to the cause that even finding this out doesn't sway him away from the path he's already on. And part of that is that he had the promise of power within his grasp. Calidus has promised him that he is going to be the High King, the Emperor. He's like, he's basically like Anakin right now. Calidus is the Emperor, pulling his strings, promising him power. And I can just see Nether telling Veritas, "In my new empire." So I don't know how much Nether really believes what Calidus tells him and what he later tells Veritas to try to convince Veritas to come around to his side about Azeroth and Elyon being basically apples and oranges. The same but different, rather than good versus evil. No matter which one of them is in charge, it will be the same for us humans, so why not choose the winning side? Why not choose the side that has promised us power instead of promised Corbin power? And I think at this point, Nether realizes all the bad things he's done, and the only way he can reconcile those actions that he's taken is to embrace this new destiny that he's been shown. Or at least, that's what he has to tell himself to believe that he's not all bad and not wanting to give up power. And then Nether has to be honest and tell the truth to Veritas. Calidus doesn't want him to. Nether still loves Veritas and he believes in Veritas's friendship and loyalty. I was torn on what I hoped Veritas would do. So I love his character. I love how good and loyal he is. So I wasn't sure whether I wanted him to remain loyal to Nether and prove his worth as a man to Nether, or to choose the good side and put Elyon and actually what he thought he was doing, defeating evil, above his friend. And I know that this choice was not easy for Veritas because of the very type of man that he is. And I am happy with his choice. I'm glad I would not have to make that decision for myself. Choose the person or the ideal. That's not easy. And then Veritas gets carried through a broken window by Alcyon and they float down the river and we don't know whether they live or not at the end of the book. Okay, next I am going to talk about Evnis and Vaughn. Evnis, I think, is the very first point of view we get in the first book. So we read the prophecy of the giant or whatever, but the first person we see that's part of this story is Evnis. And just like I was impressed with Veritas from the very beginning, I was disappointed in Evnis from the very beginning. Again, kind of an Anakin Skywalker kind of thing where he wants to save his wife, and so he takes this dark power, and by the time we get to Ruin, his relationship with his son is super strained. I'm not sure they would have a chance of reconciling if they both lived. I think they had this very normal father-son dynamic of they do deep down love each other, but they do not see eye to eye. I think that happens all the time. But in a fantasy setting, in a wartime, not seeing eye to eye, in this case, means that they're on opposite sides of the war. And in a battle, they have to face each other. And as disappointed as I was in Evnis from the beginning, never more so than when he literally tries to stab his own son in the back. You nasty Baggins, I am glad that Camlin took care of you. It's hard for Vaughn. Vaughn wants to be a good guy. Especially, I think, maybe seeing Camlin going from being a bandit to now being good and serving Adana, and Vaughn also doesn't want to follow in his father's footsteps. He wants to choose the good side. He wants to have integrity. And he's sad that his dad doesn't. I did not write a single note for Ulfilas or Wraith except to say that I did not much care for them. And it's not even so much that I disliked their characters, which, I mean, I did not like them. They're baddies. They do nasty things. I just found their points of view kind of meh. I was never super invested in either of their characters. The only thing really interesting about Rafe is that he drinks from the cup. And then you have to wonder how that's going to affect the next book. I wrote 0 notes on Calidus. Calidus is just kind of, you know, the big baddie. He serves Azeroth. He tries to lie and manipulate, and that's kind of all there is to him. He's not a compelling character on his own. Apparently I didn't write any notes for Lycos either, so I hate him. I hate him more with every book. I hate everything he does. I hate that he's lazy and greedy, and I hate how he thinks about Fidelay, and he does bring up some wrath within me, and I hope that he meets his justice. Okay, I've read book 4. I know what happens. No spoilers. Okay, and then Idana and Roshin. So I know Idana's not one of the baddies, but I kind of put her in to this video because she is like the opposite of Roshin. These queens who kind of start out together, but then Roshin betrays Idana. I hate betrayals in books, although this one was not exactly unexpected. I love that Idana is showing strength. She is embracing her queenhood. She goes into the swamps and she rallies people together to fight her enemy and fight for her people, and I admire that. I think all the women in these books are super strong. Idana has lost a lot. She's lost her parents, her friends. I think maybe that's why she kind of latches onto Camlin and Vaughn and Halion as much as she does. And she also needs as many loyal people as she can get right now. And I think she has chosen wisely. I do think she's relieved not to have to marry Lorcan. Lorcan still thinks this is going to happen. He still likes her. He still calls her sweet names. He is kind of in love with her, and I think it's kind of cute, and I wish it could work out, but it's fine. I think Idana would rather marry for love, but knowing she's going to be a ruler means that she knows that's probably not going to happen, and she was willing to give herself to Lorcan for political reasons. She was going to be selfless for her people. And then poor Lorcan, I felt for him at the end. He tells his mom point blank, "You should not have made me choose." It's not like Roshin is a good character. She could have been a good mother while still being a bad guy in the story, but she doesn't really want what's best for Lorcan. She wants what's best for herself. And Lorcan, sweet boy, does love both Idana and his mother, but he cannot agree to killing Idana. That's not going to work for him, and so he chooses. Bye-bye, Roshin. See you later, or not. I don't know. Speaking of which, there are several characters that you just have to read the next book to find out whether they live or die. And having read the 4th one now, I encourage you that if you have finished Ruin and not gotten to Wrath yet, get to it. It's a very satisfying wrap-up to The Faithful and the Fallen. If you have not watched my part 1 for Ruin yet, go give that a watch to see the good guys from the book. And if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to this channel for more bookish content. And I'll see you next time. Bye!